What's up, YouTube world? Steve Billionaird and Do-Rag Steve all in one. And this is, y'all probably like, what is this video? It's Billionaird Sports Rap. Like I said, the aesthetics is going to be better. And I'm going to do another video, and that's going to be a surprise, and it's also going to be outside. Had a little technical difficulties, but I'm going to shoot this one today. And yes, I got the rock. Put up a couple of shots, you know what I mean? So you may hear little things in the background because there's like a drill team behind me. I'm in the park, but this is where this is where it all started for me. Like being in the parks, being on the as you can see, the blacktop, you know what I mean? So let's get into it. Billionaird Sports Rap, Steve Billionaird, Do-Rag Steve. You heard me? We outside. Always outside. So this video is going to be about the state of the NBA. That's what it's going to be about, the state of the NBA. First, I'm going to talk about the All-Star game and what my thoughts are, and then we're going to talk about the NBA. All right? So let's get into it. So the All-Star game, they made some changes. The changes was decent, I thought. Nothing like spectacular as far as making these players want to be involved, want to be competitive. And that's really what it is. That's what it comes down to. And it comes down to that in the NBA. Now, to give the positives as far as the NBA and how it has grown and how it has become a global game and how much money and revenue it has made, and the players from the past, and just giving a little history starting with Oscar Robertson. Shout out to the Big O. So to give y'all a little history about free agency, he was actually, and this is Black History Month, so I told you I'm gonna do things to tie things in to show that how much we've made positive contributions to not only to America but to the world. So Oscar Robertson was the first to take a stand, because at that time they weren't getting paid what they were supposed to get paid. So he took a stand, and basically that's where free agency started. He was the one that orchestrated and engineered the free agency, and he was able to do that because before then the owners locked you into the team and you could not move to another team or go anywhere. The Big O was the one that started that. So the Big O came out because Draymond Green, sidebar, talked about how it's unfair that all these different players in the NBA that are not all-stars are playing in the All-Star game. And playing in the All-Star game is a privilege. And I agree with that. Absolutely, it is a privilege, because when you are voted by the fans or by your peers or the media to be in the All-Star game, that means they think you are one of the, I guess I want to say, because it's 12 players on each team, or maybe 10, I don't really remember that part, that are picked to be in the All-Star game. That means you are looked at as one of the best in the league. And it's a popularity contest. It's gotten like that over the years because the fans get to pick, and they more or less may give a player a lot of votes more because they just like them, instead of them being statistically out of this world or just better than most players in the NBA. But the All-Star game is supposed to be the best player at said position, whether it's point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. And I know those positions interchange in today's game, but that's what the All-Star game was. Whenever you pick on first team NBA, second team, third team, same thing. You're those that are choosing you are the best at that position. Okay, so I just want to get that out the way. And Draymond also said that it just cheapens the All-Star game because all these guys, these young guys get to play and they didn't earn it. He's right, but this is where he's wrong, and this is why Oscar Robertson got on him. Like, who are you? You know, you haven't really done anything except play defense. I think he went a little hard, but I think the O felt some type of way because how he he spoke about it. But pretty much, and I agree with the big old Oscar Robertson, is that the players, today's players, have made it this way. Today's players have made it now that the NBA is scrambling, trying to make changes or trying to do things in order to make the players competitive. And at the end of the day, and we're going to get into, I'm going to bring up this guy named PK Subban. Almost messed up his last name. PK Subban. So PK Subban is a former professional hockey player. He was really good when he played at the time, and now he's an announcer and a commentator. So he was on ESPN the other day, and he was on the show First Take, and then he was on the show that comes on early in the morning with Mike Greenberg. Can't remember the name, but he went off and he was very passionate about the difference between hockey and basketball. And what he was saying is, with hockey, you know, it's passion, you fight, you know, you get into fights, it's competitive, and you have to be competitive, because if you don't, you're going to get checked. That's how I took it. He said in the NBA, he said, I grew up with the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, and he put LeBron James as well. But basically what he was saying, all the generation before this generation came with it and was very competitive. Not only during the season, but the All-Star game. And you've seen it. Even, I'll just bring up one example, Kobe Bryant, when everybody was lauding LeBron coming straight from high school, rightly so, and you know, he coming into NBA and he's looking like the new face. Kobe was like, yeah, man, like, you got to prove it to me. You know what I mean? And Kobe is Kobe Bryant, Bean, you know, Mamba. So in the All-Star game, Kobe was D'ing him up as soon as he got the ball inbounds, all the way full court. And you could tell Bron was not used to that. And he was kind of having trouble with his handles. Obviously, his handles is much better now. But you could tell the intensity, and Kobe was sending a message. And Kobe, throughout his career, has always sent messages to different players, because he had that mentality like, I'm not allowing you to be better than me. I'm not allowing you to beat me. I'm going to make sure I destroy you, not only on the court, but also mentally, and snatch your heart. That was MJ. That was Kobe. That was Shaq. That was Charles Barkley. That was Karl Malone. That was Gary Payton. You can go all of, to greats. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. We can go on and on. But, and I'll just finish with this, with the All-Star game. The bottom line is this. It's the players. They have to decide to be competitive. The dunk contest. LeBron, and I hate to say this, as great as LeBron is, and he is, when he decided not to never participate in the dunk contest, and he probably didn't intend to do this, but it set the tone for these other athletes. And see, and this is the part, because I've been listening to different opinions and from different, outlets, media outlets, ESPN, different analysts, giving their take as far as what can be better and what can improve the game in the All-Star game. And one of them did say it, and that was PK. I'll go back to him. He's saying, leaders, you have to lead. He said Michael Jordan, Kobe, they led by example. They cared about the game. Larry Bird, Magic, when the NBA was not even popular because of, back in the 70s, drugs and different things like that going on. But they made Magic and Bird the rivalry, and even it was a race thing, we have to admit too, because Magic was black, Bird was white. Boston, Lakers, and the rivalry within that rivalry. So at the end of the day, it was those things that made them competitive, made them want to compete. They had a pride, not only to compete to be the best or to prove that I'm better than you, they also had pride for the organization, especially the Celtics and Lakers, talking about Magic and Bird, the history of those franchises. And they also had the competitive nature innate in them. And then they also knew that what we do, like our predecessors did for us, we got to make the game better for the future generation. See, what's happened is, and this is unfortunate, going back to the revenue, going back to how much money the NBA makes now. Yes, it's great that these players is getting paid. It's great that they're getting their worth and all that. But what's happened is it's spoiled them. They don't feel like they have anything to prove or to be competitive. And going back to leaders and going back to Bron, when Bron decided not to not to participate in the dunk contest, then now all of those players that looked up to Bron, because they look up to Bron, like today's generation look up to Bron, they look up to Paul George, they were whatever players that are in. They knew about Michael Jordan, they knew about Magic, they knew about Larry Bird, but they didn't grow up in that time. They weren't even born yet. So when they grew up, LeBron James was their idol. So whatever LeBron does, or whoever that generation, what they do, then the players more than likely is going to emulate and do what they do. So Bron's intention, probably he wasn't even thinking that he would make an effect like that, but he did make an effect like that. And that's my take and how I see it. And see, when that happens, then yeah, now everybody else is going to copycat and do it. It's like sheep. So you got John Morant, you got Anthony Edwards, you got all these dudes that can hop and that can dunk, that's not going to participate in it. Now, of course, the dunk contest is so many different dunks, and I'm sorry, I forgot about Vince Carter and Dominique Wilkins. Vince Carter, to me, was his contest was one of the best, and even the later players, have done their thing as well. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times they overthink it and they think like, oh, I got to do this type of dunk, or this dunk has already been done. It's called being creative, and that's another thing. Creativity has left the game. Now we go to Steph. Steph being a sharpshooter, 3-point, shooting from the logo, shooting from everywhere. Not everybody is Steph. So the game has changed in that sense where everybody wants to shoot threes. No one's driving to the basket. No one's working on their mid-range game. No one is, with the handles. And they do it, but it's not at a high efficiency rate. You feel me? So it's like the game is boring. Like I had the game on last night and I'd be like, I can't even focus on it because it just seems like the same tape, the same thing, the same, I go down, we're gonna shoot threes, I throw the ball down low, I'm gonna kick it out, I'm gonna shoot three. It's just so predictable. Like predictability after a while is gonna be, it's routine. And then routine is just boring because there's nothing that they're really doing that's spectacular, or it's like, oh, that was different. You have a few players like a Kyrie Irving that will do stuff and just do something. You're like, oh, wow. And then you have the usual in and out and the cross and doing that stuff. But when I was growing up, there was so many players that had signature type moves that it was like, wow, how did he do that? The sham guard, even Pearl Washington, look him up. His handles and his cross was mean, even before the Tim Hardaways, the AIs, and those different players. So when I played, I watched Isaiah Thomas, Magic, and if it was a move that was so smooth and so sweet, you practice it on the court and you try to emulate it. You know what I'm saying? So the creativity is lost. And what's great with the internet and the YouTube, hey, and all the different things you can watch and train and practice with, but everything is the same. So all these players do the step back, the shuffle two, the side step back. You know what I mean? Everybody does that. And it's like, okay, come up with something new and different. And that's where we at with the game. It's because there's no creativity. And that lies in, it's just, I think it's just too much visibility. Like with us, you know what I mean? We on the playground, we came up with stuff. We came up with different things. And whoever came up with it, someone see it, they emulate it, and then it goes so on and so forth. Even the Euro step. I love the Euro step. I wish the Euro step was when I was growing up, because it's a great move to avoid a charge. Because when you're driving, this is basketball 101, when you drive into the basket, if you're going at full speed or even close to full speed, someone can just set up and set themselves in front of you and take the charge. Now with the Euro step, if you're really nice with it and you go on full speed, and obviously your legs better be strong, inner legs and all that, because you don't want to tear your ACL or twist your thing, but you can do the Euro step and just blow right by them and just, like, you know, I'm doing a little move. It's a beautiful thing. And yeah, that the Europeans came up with that. I don't know who, I would say, man, I want to say, I'm sorry, and I'm blanking out right now, I'm being honest, the dude from the Spurs, and it'll probably pop in my head later. Names, I kind of go in and out sometimes. I got to get better with that. But he was the one I first seen that did the Euro step. And then everybody, you know, started doing it and perfecting it. But his Euro step was mean, and he used to catch people with it. So I say all this to say is, in regards to the All-Star game, they just have to find ways for it to become competitive. Maybe be USA players against the world players. I think that they should definitely do that. That will make it more competitive. We're seeing, I'm going back to PK, and he, you know, and I guess the game is going on now. The USA against Canada, the championship. So they had, you know, the different countries playing against each other, round robin, and now they're playing each other in the championship. You have a pride to represent your country and the competitiveness of going against someone because you don't want to lose. That's a country thing. Just like when we play in the Olympics, it's the same thing. It's representing your country. It's a different feeling, you know? So that's in regards to the All-Star game. Now I'm gonna talk about the NBA. The NBA, I want people to comment, please. I want comments, I want opinions. But I feel like it's soft. This player management, load management, all these different things, I don't know, these players, you would think with all the tools that you have to stay in shape, to build your strength and the technology and all of those things, you would think that these players would be much stronger and much healthier and can endure more than the past players. But that's not the case. And these players decide to sit out games, and it be nationally televised games or even games, and guess who it hurts? It hurts the fans, it hurts the viewers, because we want to see the matchups. We want to see the LeBron going against Joker. We want to see John Morant going against Anthony Edwards. We want to see all the different star players going against each other. Tatum's, the Browns, you know, Embiid, Paul George, Maxey, you know, it's just, I don't know what's going on with these players. They cannot stay healthy. They even shortened the season in hopes to get y'all to play more, and it seemed like it's gotten worse. So it's like every game that comes up, you don't know until game time whether the player is going to play or not going to play. That's a real problem. So as a result of all this, because the NBA is now, you know, new contracts, and they figuring it out, Amazon and these different platforms, and there's a lot of money being thrown around. I think they said 70 billion. The NBA as a whole, the game is being hurt. So now the money is starting to get compromised. So the owners and these different people, guess is going to ultimately hurt the players, and even not so much the superstar players, maybe the players that are not superstar, because what's going to happen is these owners going to be like, we're not going to be paying you like $200, $300, $400 million, and y'all not showing up to play. It's like a job. If you don't show up to work and you miss days and you miss enough days, guess what happens? You already know, you get fired, you get let go, because you have to be present. You have to show up to work, and you have to show up in basketball or any sports to play. So somebody, and going back to what PK said, they got to step up. The face of the NBA, these leaders, they have to step up. And now I heard today that Wembley is out for the season because it was his shoulder, but now he has a blood clot. Now that's serious. You can't play with blood clots because that has to do, with your heart, brain. So understand him. But it's like he's one of the new faces of the game, and now he's out for the season. So now it's like, man, like, who's going to stay healthy in the NBA throughout the season and through the playoffs and to the championship? Like, it's not football, it's not hockey. So these players need to start learning how to play with injuries. It is a sport. I played it. I played with injuries and through injuries. Your tolerance does build, but at the end of the day, it's part of the game. You have to figure it out. If you're not in the greatest of shape, you have enough money and resources to get in shape. If you don't put the training in and the time in, then the results is not going to be good for you because your body is not going to be able to withstand the rigors of a NBA season. It's just not. So that's on you. The accountability is on these players to make sure they are in tip-top shape. There's 400 players that play in the NBA. You are special. You made the NBA. You know how many players would love to be in your position and play in the NBA and be able to play basketball for a living and make money to play basketball? Or any sport that you love, that you grew up on, when you started, that's why I'm out here. You started putting up shots, doing 5, 4, 3, game-winning shots and all that. You put in all this work to get to that level. And now you're there, and now you can't even play a full season, or you don't play in meaningful games that will make the consumer, the fan, want to pay their money or buy their ticket to see the game. These tickets are expensive. So they're not going to keep spending their money. They're not going to keep doing that if the superstar or the players that they come to see is not going to play. It's just not going to happen. So I just hope, because I have a love for a game, that they figure this out. Adam Silver, he really has to figure this out along with the owners and the players. And if they don't step up and do this, then yeah, it's going, it's not going to be pretty for the future of these players. You know what I'm saying? So, but let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts, because I just definitely want to hear, what y'all think about the NBA. To y'all, maybe some people that's cool with it, satisfied with it. They fine with how it is. But to me, it's not really like exciting. Like I love football, and football is definitely, and other sports is definitely going over top of it. So at the end of the day, to me, the NBA is just kind of like drop. It doesn't hold to me anyway, it doesn't hold my attention like it used to. Like, I used to be like, man, Michael Jordan, Detroit, Isaiah, Rodman, Beer, Vinnie Johnson, going back in the days, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Bird, Magic, like those were, wars and matchups. Dr. J. I mean, you can go on and on and on. Those were historical matchups, and those matchups brought excitement, it brought competitiveness, it brought to the point where they fought each other and all of that, but it was the will to win. It was the will to want to beat that person and win a championship and get a ring and get rings. Michael Jordan is undefeated in 6-0 in championships. Now, you can say what you want. There are people out there, the younger generation, saying, oh, he didn't have people that was as competitive or as good as him and all that. No, his will to win, like Kobe, 5 rings, his will to win, there was just unmatched. So that's the type of level Kevin Garnett, like his will to win. I mean, you can go on and on. There's certain players that are just dogs, like they just have it. Anthony Edwards, I would say he's one of them. He definitely has it. I heard him say he doesn't want to be the face of the NBA. He may have to be one of them by default. But he's an exciting player. He's a very competitive player, and he doesn't like to lose. And that's what I look for. When I see players that take it like personal and don't like to lose, I want that player. I want to play with them, because that player, is going to come with it and come 100%, 1,000%, and put it all on the floor. And when he leaves, it's like, yeah, man, I did everything I can. The result is the result. I ain't cheat the game. And that's the last thing I'm going to say, is that you can't cheat the game, because the game is going to do you dirty. You can't cheat the game. The game is the game. Like, you give love to it, it's going to give you love back. And the fans is going to give you love. The media is going to give you love. Everybody that loves the sport of basketball is going to give you the recognition that you deserve. Like Michael Jordan has been out the league, maybe 15, 20 years? His brand, Jordan brand, Nike. These young kids buying his sneakers because of what he did in the league, because of him being a winner, because of him being the GOAT and his accomplishments, have set up for him to have merch and all these other things that kids even buy, that weren't even born when he was playing. So that's because of the legacy that he left. That's what today's players have to think about. What are you going to leave to the game? What are you going to contribute to the game that's going to be relevant, and it's going to be a memory, a great memory in their mind that they could talk about to their friends, their family, their kids, or whatever. It's the experiences, it's the memories of these players competing, and the moments that they competed at a highest level and came through and won, being competitive to win championships. It's okay. It's fine. You made it to the NBA. You got money. You have a lot of money. I guess you can get comfortable. You can get relaxed. You can feel like you don't have no higher goals to set for yourself. But you do. You have higher goals to set, not only for yourself, but for the game and for the future generation of players. Because the tone you set is what's coming behind them once they leave the game. So that's it, y'all. Please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from anybody as far as this subject, the All-Star game and the state of the NBA today. But they better get it together. And if they don't get it together, it's, these owners, because at the end of the day, that's who pays. When the collective bargaining agreement comes again, they're going to make changes where it's going to be incentives. And that's how I see it, that, if you don't play this amount of games, if you don't score this amount of points, it may break it down to like certain things, depending on what type of player you are, then you're not going to get this amount of money. Because right now, you just get whatever amount of money based on your skill level and based on what you've done. But like football, they have certain incentives. You get a certain amount of catches, we're going to pay you 500 more thousand. You make the playoffs, we're going to give you a million or whatever. I can see the NBA doing that. So this is a message to the players. Like, y'all don't want to have to do that, but see, they're going to set those benchmarks because they want you to be competitive. They want you to be present. They want you all to play and to compete. So that's all, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. I love to hear them. I love to get perspectives. Like I said, Billionaird Sports Rap, the aesthetics is always going to get better and better. The analysis, the opinions, the critical thinking when it comes to sports, because it's that too. And just hearing from you all. Let's talk, let's banter, let's do all that. But thank you very much for watching. If you watched this long, this would definitely help my watch hours, because that's what it's all about. Being a partner with YouTube, and hopefully I'm giving y'all great content. But thank you very much for watching Billionaird Sports Rap. Steve Billionaird. And yeah, I actually still got it on the court a little bit, but I'm out. Take care, y'all. Until next time.